know,
Okay, Paparis said that he's going to restart his laptop, but I'm not sure. So I'm I'm mostly technical stuff, so I can just say that Ooki is a margin and borrowing platform, and you can also lend and earn interest rate. So we have a couple of places where the interest rate is pretty high. We are deployed on a number of blockchains, such as Ethereum, obviously, where we have our DAO deployed. We have BSC, Polygon, Arbitrum, obviously, and we are planning to extend to some other blockchains as well. So the main speak is supposed to be Paris who to give, as not really good of a speaker. Anyway, so on Arbitrum we have a couple of
if you want,
tokens
I can
listed.
I can formally introduce you. I feel bad.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to make you feel like I'm throwing you into the fire here.
Yeah, well, it's not a problem really. So I have to learn public speaking as well. So that's part of my job.
Yeah,
Paris,
don't we all?
you're back. So while Paris is solving his technical issues, which I can't help really, but okay. So we have listed Frax, Link, Meme, some stable coins, WBTC. For the stable to stable pairs, you can really do margin trade 15x, and for the normal crypto such as Link and Ethereum, you can just do a 5x margin. We have plans to extend this to be like even bigger leverage, and we also have plans, which is we believe is going to have a huge effect on the protocol, is that we plan to develop the permissionless listing framework, so that because right now, as you can imagine, to create a specific pair, you need to have to secure the protocol, you need to have Oracle for this Oracle price feed available for a specific pair. But we were thinking that with the permissionless listing, we can create something like
Hello?
V2 pair,
Hello?
like when you create a pair, and we are going to use probably
Hey,
TWAP price feed.
I think Paris is coming
can you
through,
hear
by
me
the
now?
way.
Oh
Yeah,
man, I don't know.
fine.
I had to go get a pair of headphones. I don't know what was happening. Sorry, guys.
No worries. Listen, Roman was taking it away.
Yeah,
In
and I just killed this flow, so take it away, Roman.
Okay, since Paris is back, well, basically what I said is that we plan to do the permissionless listing. Right now, we are started deploying the iToken as a collateral, as iToken is our interest-bearing token. It's similar to Aave and other platforms, is where you can lend to a platform, and for example, you lend USDC, and then you get back the iToken that represents your share. So and now we are adding the possibility so that using this iToken, you can go further and even do a margin trade or borrow using the same iToken. So if in short, you can lend to the protocol, get iToken back, and then based on your lending amount, you can borrow from the protocol as well. So that's pretty cool stuff. We also plan to deploy a couple of vaults, but probably that's another discussion. I'll give the Paris a chance to speak as well.
Okay, so what was the question you guys were addressing?
So okay, so there actually wasn't any question.
Nice.
Roman actually just taking it away and killing it. If you want, I can just quickly formally introduce everybody. Even though Roman, by the way, that was a beautiful, just kind of straight to the point pitch. Nonetheless, for those who aren't familiar, I'm Hunter from the Arbitrum team over here. Leading community management, and I'm joined today by the Ooki team. Hopefully, I said that correctly. Roman is representing the technical side, while Paris is representing the marketing side. And we're really just going to talk about their platform, like the different things you can do on it, in terms of like lending, borrowing, trading, etc. And just kind of just dive into that. And obviously we just heard kind of the quick pitch that Roman kind of gave us, which really actually gave a lot of light into the protocol itself. So thank you for that, Roman. I think Paris, where it may make sense for you to actually kind of start off on your side is just maybe explaining a little bit of like how Ooki actually came to be in the first place, and just generally maybe how it differs itself from its competitors.
Sure. So, for anybody who's not really familiar with Oki, basically it started out as a way to leverage Ethereum to make trades. And, obviously we do quite a bit of things from borrowing, trading, lending, and staking. But, at the core ethos of Oki is, I think it's quite easy to see from the homepage, which would be hello.oki.com. So if anybody wants to kind of open that up and check it out, I think it's a pretty good summary. But getting back on the topic, more or less, like we really try to make users feel comfortable using a DEX. So, obviously, I'm sure most of the listeners in the audience right now are DeFi users and avid DeFi users. But at the end of the day, I think the reality is like people are just very, very comfortable using a SEX. And like a lot of people don't actually venture anywhere in DeFi beyond Uniswap. So, from the first version of Oki, that had decentralized trading, we really just tried to keep it in the same kind of manner where everything's kind of done on a click, and it doesn't make like a user feel too uncomfortable going into a trade or with the platform or anything itself. So if going back to the homepage thing, if you go on the homepage and you kind of click in the app, you can see it's just so simple, and that's really what we aim to do, to just have it be very simple for somebody so that somebody who's not used to a DEX could actually use it and be like, wow, it's actually not that different. And there are benefits to it, it's instantaneous and everything else that comes with, the simplicity of use. So I think at the core kind of design and, usability of the product is just that, trying to make it as simple as possible for people. So that's one big differentiating factor, because I know it could be kind of like daunting for some people to even like use a bridge. But also, the main other differentiating factor, which I think Ramon covered as well, is our upcoming permissionless listings. So, I think he told you a bit about that, but that's kind of a feature that no one has really pulled off yet, and we're looking to get that going. I'd say this year, the next, somewhere there. But that's kind of the big thing for us and what we have down the line, which the community has been constantly asking us for.
If you don't mind me actually maybe picking a little bit at that,
Yeah, go
what
for it.
makes it so hard to have permissionless listings on a margin platform like that?
No, that's a question for Ramon.
Okay, so the great complexity comes from a security point of view. So as you know, like the protocols are hacked daily, and so having the possibility to actually list any tokens like Uniswap V2 does has some security consequences, especially in the complex code that like protocol margin trading protocols have. So the margin trading protocols, it's a must that we have some kind of Oracle price feed. So we can use either a Chainlink price feed or we can use a TWAP price feed. So, or maybe you can use some other Oracle price feeds, such as, I don't know, Flux or stuff like that. So obviously the Chainlink price feed and the Flux price feed, it's not available for all the tokens, but only for actually they have to pass through some scrutiny from the Chainlink side, and then they provide the price feed. On the TWAP side of things, also not a lot of things are very bright, because even TWAP is supposed to be fully decentralized, but right now there are ways to, let's say, manipulate the price feed. Even there are some research papers that indicate that you can manipulate the price feed over the 2 or 3 blocks. It's a costly exercise to do, but it depends of the profits that you're making as well. So that's the one part of the complexity. The second part of the complexity is that we are dealing with tokens, and sometime, like from the protocol side, we are calling the transfer of function from those tokens, like back and forth from people wallets and to the protocol, and vice versa. So if let's say a hacker is deploying a custom implementation of transfer of function, it is possible for him to actually execute the code that is not intended to be executed. So those are just security stuff that usually hackers do to hack different protocols, let's say, in a simple words. So to do a permissionless listing, we have to mitigate all those scenarios and develop a framework and think wise and pass a couple of audits to actually be able to publicly say that our permissionless listing is safe and ready to use. One other thing that what else? So another thing is that with the permissionless listing is that, for example, it's about the isolation of the landed funds, because a failure of single token shouldn't bring the whole protocol down. So we've seen, like, for example, for Aave, if for example USDT loses the peg, then people with USDT actually can borrow the whole Aave. So that's a risk to the protocol. That's why Aave team basically has a framework of how to which tokens to actually list. So does Ooki team. We have a framework and we carefully analyze which tokens we list on our platform, because it's a risk to the protocol. With the permissionless listing, any tokens can be listed. That's why we have to implement some kind of isolation, so that, like, if a specific pool goes down, it shouldn't, all the lenders to the platform shouldn't lose their money or tokens. So yeah, those are probably core problems that we need to solve.
No, thanks for the insight there, and I think it's pretty interesting to see that like that being kind of like the biggest issue, especially considering that you guys had mentioned that I think Paris mentioned that you guys do multiple audits regularly. I think in the AMA chat there. Um, but I mean, security is definitely very important in crypto, and I'm actually in that case kind of happy to see that we haven't seen anyone try to front run anyone else in that opportunity, like and sacrificing user security, for that specifically. Because I have heard about permissionless listings for margin trading, and like I'm sure that that'd be a very you know a wanted thing, but if it's like again at the sacrifice of user security, then I'll always say let's just wait until we get a more advanced product, I guess, to put in place versus just putting it out there just to be first.
I'll totally agree with you on that.
Yeah, that's definitely true. That's definitely true. So we uh, actually, like, in our mind, I believe that we have all the pieces, all the technology, and all the algorithms available to do. So it's just we have to put them all together, and I think it should be good to be used. So in our team inside, like, we are developing some documents, to actually describe how things should be working in a permissionless listing, and we basically have no unsolved problems, let's say. So
Totally. No, yeah. So I think in that case, maybe it probably makes sense to maybe hit on this one. What role does governance play in Doki?
Sure. So Ooki has moved to like a fully decentralized, or as decentralized as possible, protocol, and we're fully community governed. So the same reasons that we were discussing permissionless listing so much before is because it's pretty much the most communicated requested feature. So, everything's kind of decided in the forums on what people want to see moving forward. That being said, I know Roman was mentioning earlier that the DAO is wrapping up on iToken as collateral as well as limit orders, but that's not to the hindrance of permissionless listings. So I think that's just kind of a testament to like what everyone wants, which is the permissionless listings, which is quite requested from the community. So that's kind of the role of governance in Ooki as well. So everything kind of passes a vote and gets discussed in Telegram beforehand.
Yeah, we have a number of quite big traders. One day I was speaking to one of our traders, and he's really, aware probably. He said that he needs like at least a 2 million position, at least a 2 million, to open a position he's using it. So 5x, that means that we need at least 10 million to 10 million borrow from the protocol to actually open 10 million positions. And he explicitly said that, he wants to play with the tokens that were just listed to the market. So let's say there is a new project and it was just listed on the market and the Uniswap pool created and, people are joining and buying. So he wants to take advantage of, he wants to risk and bet, and he wants to play it with the leverage. Obviously leverage trading comes at a risk as well, but some people are just let's say risk averse. That's all.
No, totally hear you. No, yeah, I mean, and it's definitely important to have the opinions from like some of your I would say like most valuable users. Most valuable can definitely be, I guess, determined by what you perceive as valuable. But yeah,
So yeah, it's
But then as well, like margin trading is not only for risk takers. It's also you can also protect your portfolio using margin. So yeah, that's also a good opportunity to actually, protect your portfolio.
we also had some feedback from users where like they would want to run like low leverage instead of some kind of like 10x or something bigger like that, where people would want to run like something like a 1.2x leverage on, let's say, Ethereum, which is an asset they like. So that's the kind of feedback we had. But I just wanted to get back to a previous point. I don't know if Roman earlier covered exactly what permissionless listings is in like a simple way. Basically, let's say there's like the newest dog token craze and it's kind of exploding, right? Whether you want to kind of short or long it, before that token is actually listed anywhere, you wouldn't be able to do that, right? You'd only be able to buy spot. But with permissionless listings, with enough governance acceptance, you'd be able to quickly get that asset or whatever new dog coin would be, the hype of the day, listed on Ooki and be able to trade it with margin, which hasn't been done before again. So that's kind of like a very simple use case of permissionless listings, just in case it wasn't covered before, because I know we're kind of talking a bit about the tech.
awesome, yeah, and you know what, the even if you're on marketing, I think it's always important to be able to speak about the tech too. So that's good to hear.
Focus on the tech, sir.
Max, especially in the bear market, especially in the bear market. I think then the next appropriate question to ask here is just generally, I guess, what's your guys' vision on the future of margin trading is, and if anything, what you think needs to change for it to really just become more adopted.
Roman, you want to take that one?
Yeah. So, before joining crypto, I was working trading firms, and margin trading was never like a huge, uh, had a huge popularity, like in let's say, how do you say that? Like for people who are not, uh, aware of the finances in general. It's mostly, when you go to a SEX and you apply for, like, let's say, interactive brokers, you apply for the margin trading or TD Ameritrade. You apply for the margin trading and you have to pass specific requirements. You have to know what you're doing. and it's a it's they have to make sure that you know what you're doing, you are accepting. But sometimes the requirements are like just some bureaucracy. So we're trying to make sure that people are aware that they can lose everything. At the same time, we trying to lower the requirements for people to be able to do margin trading globally. And I think, we actually want to educate people more as well. Um, I don't think like margin trading is going to be uh, like the same level as trading ever, because it has more risk in it. So I don't think we're going to have that much popularity compared to just a simple swap, let's say. But in regards to volume, usually margin trading platforms are gathering much more volume because you are using leverage. So the fees to the platform should be substantial.
No, totally. And yeah, go for it.
Yeah, this is it basically. So I'm not sure if everybody familiar, but I would say that the margin trading is not for all the people. So we don't want to all unexperienced people to lose their money, but people who really know how to trade and who know what they're doing and they're willing to risk. And I think a lot of crypto people are like that, because as we all know that you don't put your money in crypto that are not that are life savings, let's say. So yeah, so this is it. You just don't use your life savings in crypto in general, and this is especially true in margin trading. Don't try to bet. Try to uh, manage your portfolio wise.
So it's to my understanding that you guys actually have something called Oki University. Be able to maybe shed a little more light on that, because it feels like that maybe kind of ties into a little bit of just that education
Yeah,
standpoint that you
sure. I
mentioned
mean,
a
yeah,
moment.
it does kind of tie into the homepage and the simplicity of it. So, when you guys were kind of going off on a more technical side of things, obviously, all that tech is quite important, and it's obviously a large part of the protocol. But I mean, to the end user, we try to keep the interface and the UI UX as simple as possible. So, Oki University is kind of the same thing. It has articles for beginners, a bit about what's going on in the markets, and a bit about news, all mixed into one. I've seen a lot of DeFi platforms trying to have educational like aspects to them to try to bring on new users from that traditional sex experience. So that's just our like take on it, and obviously everything's kind of focused on what we do and what we see going on.
No, that's great, and frankly, I think tools like that are just, I think, like infinitely more just valuable to people, especially because it's like, like you can have a protocol obviously that lives on chain and does what people like want it to do. Again, like margin trading, lending, borrowing, whatever it is. I think having that added service to actually educate people on the product itself sounds a little obvious, but like just having it there is I think is really really key. Just for new users coming into the space, or from those guys all the way just to OGs that are entering the space and just want to know more about your project, right?
Yeah, of course, and again, it might seem like really casual to us to talk about these things, like, oh, that's so simple. But a lot of my friends, I don't know, I can't really speak for others that aren't so crypto minded. Again, have never left Binance, never left Coinbase, never like plugged in a contract address to find a new token. So it's really kind of aimed at people like that, as well as we try to hit that balance where it can capture someone new but not bore someone who is already very knowledgeable on everything.
Yeah, I actually would love more tokens to be withdrawable to the Arbitrum directly, for example, so that because the fees are so cheap. So, like before, I have some obviously I have some funds on Binance. So before buying something, I would consider withdraw to Ethereum, swap, and the transaction cost would total up to like $100, which it's kind of expensive. So instead, now you can withdraw, for example, to Arbitrum and swap, or even not even deposit to SX. Like have your funds to any L2 platform, any L2 blockchain, and just swap there. And liquidity is pretty much good. So I think in the long term, we are going to see more adoption for the decentralized exchanges. Uh, they already bypassed the volume of the some of them bypass the volume of Binance, for example. So
No, exactly. And I mean, I mean, at least from our side, like in terms of like adoption from like a centralized exchange standpoint, and even just project standpoint, like we're seeing more and more projects like kind of making the move over to Arbitrum like every day. And if nothing else, just because of like again, obviously because we're layer two on Ethereum, you get that sweet protection from Ethereum, but also like the snappiness and just cheapness of being on a layer two. But also, just the fact that we have such like a bustling a DeFi ecosystem here. Obviously, you guys being a part of it, it's almost like a no brainer to just kind of be like, yeah, like let's just go where literally all the innovation's happening right now, and kind of just try to make a stance there. Because frankly, it's I think my favorite thing, at least about seeing projects kind of deploy here, is that it's a very very even playing field, where it's like we're always happy to introduce projects to one another and kind of facilitate any types of partnerships going on, because that is definitely a norm here, at least on Arbitrum One. So it's just really cool just to see projects innovating here on like pretty much a platform where, assuming like you kind of like hit all the right metrics, you're pretty much good. Like, the users will come if you build a great product, essentially.
yeah, definitely. Well, I fully agree with you. So it's easier to collaborate when the blockchain is not so expensive to use, let's say. And for me, for example, as a developer, it's much easier to test stuff on Arbitrum than on Ethereum, obviously. So, for example, nowadays we have deployed our protocol on a number of blockchains. So my deployment actually starts from the Arbitrum, usually new stuff, because it's just easier to test and it is mostly Ethereum-like, so the closest to Ethereum as possible. And I don't have to spend like $1,000 on different transactions just to test that everything is deployed properly. Even though we're testing before on fork, but even after the live deployment, you still have to go around and check stuff to make triple sure that everything is fine. And with Nitro, the transaction cost is going to even more down. So I'm happy to see Arbitrum improving for everybody.
Yes, for the users and the projects, of course. Are there any other services, by the way, that maybe I missed that Ooki provides for users or projects?
Lending, borrowing, and staking, which if you have Ooki tokens, it's going to earn you a percentage of all the fees generated from Ooki.
We also plan to do limit orders, and they're actually developed and deployed. But we are building UI on top of it. So we expect the limit orders to be by the end of this year. But don't. It's not an official deadline. So the code is there. It's deployed on one of the blockchains, and the UI guys are building UI for it. We're going to use Chainlink Keeper to actually execute the orders, and we plan to use Chainlink Keepers for liquidations of the positions that are under the water. So also another thing that we want to do is deploy some vaults so that you can, for example, um, use leverage to actually, um, you know, to um, how do you call it?
Farm? Burn?
For I can't explain it right now, but basically you can use the leverage of the protocol to earn even more rewards. So, for example, some protocol, let's say, is giving a reward for staking, but using our protocol, you can leverage and stake even more. Obviously, there is a risk, but yeah. So we're going to write an article on it soon. I hope that intrigues everybody.
Basically leveraged vol farming or earning.
Yeah.
Oh wow. So yeah, you guys definitely have a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline here. I think
Yeah, the interesting part is that we are compared to other teams, we are really small team. So like there are like 3 or 4 Solidity developers and 2 UI guys. So we do a lot of stuff in the background. So I hope we're driving the innovation a little bit.
wow, really? So you guys are really small actually. Wow. So is the entire organization like around that size as well, or
So Paris, how many people are there?
I think we'd say about like 10, 12 people max. Not including the full time. Oh, sorry. I mean, including full time. My bad.
I was gonna say, uh, that's crazy. Wow, look at that. That's actually it's funny. I think your marketing actually leads me to believe that you guys are actually a much like more sophisticated team. Like it's sophisticated in terms of size, I should say.
That's very
Um,
kind of you. Thank you for the nice words. No, we
no,
we
that's
have
cool.
we do everything in house. So we have an illustrator in house, writer, um, and yeah, our UI works pretty close with our illustrator and me, and we kind of get all the content made. So it's like we have like a little media team within our team. So we don't outsource.
Wow, that that is crazy. And no, and definitely commendable too. In that case, then I think Roman, you may have pretty much touched on it. But are there any like kind of like any like solid dates in terms of like a roadmap on what you guys are having to deliver coming forward? And again, if you already said it, then no need to repeat. But just want to make sure we cover everything.
So we can talk about some other things that we had in mind, but we're kind of delaying it a tiny bit as it's not the most important thing for the community. We kind of wanted to do very, very social features, as in like social features linked to NFTs, which I saw some other protocols are doing. We've wanted to do it for a while, but as well as, when you share your profile, which would be kind of your trader's profile linked to your NFT, it would be ideal to have a sort of rebate system in place. Although right now it's not the focus of the developers, but I think when the NFT market kind of heats up, I think it'll be worth revisiting on the roadmap a bit more of like a social aspect to trading, which is not the main focus right now. But again, it's in that community kind of goals, I would say.
Yeah, I definitely like the idea of gamifying a little bit, especially since the protocol are transparent. Everybody can see everybody transactions. Imagine you can just see in real time what other people are doing, especially what whales are doing, for example, and you just maybe copy them, maybe not copy them, stuff like that. It's going to be interesting.
Oh yeah, and did I hear you mention NFTs in there? The word NFT, did that just pop up?
Oh, for sure. I mean, look at our little profile pics. We look like NFTs already, you know?
No, I tell you, I think like the NFTs are like the biggest marketing hack that like has still yet to be unlocked in crypto yet. Like, I mean, I think like the Odyssey initiative that we had kind of going on in house, and that we're gonna resume soon, going forward, is definitely a good example of that. That people just like representing ownership of something, that they can tie their kind of personality to in a way. And yeah, your NFTs are actually great examples of it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, well, it's all little Okies in the Oki world. So yeah, we wanted to do something more with the brand and kind of already exploring the NFTs, but I don't think the timing is great for it now, and obviously the referrals don't take precedence over something like permissionless listings and limiting orders. So I think it's just kind of icing on top of those tech features.
Totally. Yeah, no. I definitely agree. And I mean, I think like it's funny because I think it was like NFTs didn't really start kind of getting any kind of traction until, I mean, I know now it's a little while, but like because crypto time moves so quick. Maybe like a year and a half, like two. I would say a year and a half ago probably is actually when NFTs really started kind of um like getting kind of like make mainstream, I guess you could say, like attention. So it's still really early, I'm definitely interested to see kind of what role NFTs can play in DeFi, and especially like margin trading and lending and borrowing or anything like that. That's for sure.
Yeah, I've seen some attempts at trying to link them all together, um, but I haven't seen something like fully gamified yet. So I think that's ripe for someone to move into.
Agreed. So I think for the most part, that's it on my end. We can definitely take any questions from the audience if they want to, come up and raise their hand or something like that. But if not, I'm sure they can, visit the Oki Discord as well, just in case they have any questions for the team. I presume.
We got 230 people in here. Nobody's allowed to be shy.
Dude, I'm pretty sure this is crypto. Like everyone's shying crypto, even if it is online.
All right, guys, come on. Let's clap our hands. Let's get going. Let's get some excitement. I see we have a Borat in there. We have a lot of faces in here. It's a great audience you guys have, to be honest.
Hey, this audience is yours, my friend. Here we go. We're bringing up EJ. EJ, hello.
Hello, I just have a quick question on the money market protocol within Ooki. I was wondering what the collateral ratio for the lending side is.
Collateral ratio for what exactly?
Like if I deposit collateral into the money market, like if I deposit USDT, how much collateral would someone need to post in order to borrow it?
Okay, so that's a great question. So first of all, right now the collateral, the risk factors are driven by the protocol, and they can be different. They can be different on per token base. So, for example, with USDT and USDC, you can actually, borrow. It's probably 105% collateralization, but all other coins. I don't remember exactly. We should have it somewhere on the docs, but I believe it was like 125%. So you have to collateralization or 130. It's a good question. So regarding explaining to people what is the collateralization ratio, it's actually a ratio. Like if you borrow something from the bank, for example, if your collateral to loan ratio drops below a specific percentage, the bank starts to call you, and asks to deposit more or liquidate your position. So we are doing the same, but as a margin trading platform, we actually have two variables. First is initial margin, and the second one is actually the liquidation value. So that, like, for example, you can't open your position right at the liquidation value, because you'll be immediately liquidated, probably, even the smallest market movement. So EJ, I advise you to go to our site. I think we should have a section somewhere to actually list the collateralization for all the coins. And most of them are around 120, 130. But are you looking for something specific, or? Uh, like, do you advise to have a bigger risk or lower risk?
I'm a very low risk person. That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, and you can also use less risk you always. So, for example, you can always be over collateralized, and that's I advised all the people to do that and not use all the risk possible because and a lot of times the protocols are just advising people to use most of the risks, which it shouldn't be
Yeah,
the
so you,
case.
you can collateralize over like 800%. There's no limit to that.
Awesome, thank you. And I have another small question about the Ooki token. I know it's multi-chain on 4 different chains, and I was wondering, like, are the bridges that allow you to go between the chains, are they wrapped bridges or are they native asset bridges? Like, are you able to transfer Ooki from one chain to another and it be the same, regarded the same as it was on the last chain? Or is there back-end wrapped asset risk if I want to transfer it from one chain to another? Like if I want to go from like BSC to Polygon.
I lost half of your question.
I
But
think you're
between
maybe kind of in
BSC,
and out, Roman.
Arbitrum, Polygon, and Ethereum. Sorry?
I think you're cutting in and out, Roman.
Okay, it's probably my internet. Okay, it should be better. So I'm saying that if you need to bridge your key between different chains, you can use Seller to do that efficiently. There is not a lot of liquidity, but if we see a demand for it, we can definitely add more. The rest of the question I didn't hear well, so I can't really say.
Oh, awesome, that answers it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for coming up, EJ. Appreciate your questions.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
All right. So let's see here. Bam. Is there anyone else in the audience? I think I see a couple of hands here. You guys have how many questions do you think we have time for? Just to make sure I'm cognizant of your
Oh, we're
your
all
time as
yours.
well.
No worries.
Dope. Okay, cool. All right. Let's see here. I gotta go through here manually because Discord's being weird. All right. Let's see. We should again just invite it up. Haram Malik. Let me see if he comes up. There. If not, I'll bring up Han Chanan. Let's see. I invited both you guys up to speak, so let me know if it works. But that was a great question, by the way, by EJ.
I think Haram Malik has raised the hand.
I tried inviting them up, but it doesn't seem like they're responding here. Let me see here. Probably, can you try raising your hand again? Maybe it's like a bug on my side, but here we go. I think here we go. Okay, you got this person here too. Salman Khan. Or not. Wait, hold on. Yeah, the stage is being very weird recently. For some reason I can't approve a request, but I have to actually invite them to speak, even if they already raised their hand. Yeah. Give it a couple more minutes here. Let's see if anyone's able to come on. I guess actually what could also help too is if you guys want to put the I assume you guys have a Discord, correct?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, feel free to put that in the AMA chat too, just in case people want to kind of just join the community in the meantime and
Sure. I would
get familiar.
Image chat, great. Sure. Let me throw in our links real quick.
see. You guys see anyone else with their hands raised? I think I tried inviting them up, but they didn't respond to it. Yeah, I don't see anything on my end. All right, I think in that case we can probably end off here. Just because I don't want to keep you guys on here waiting if no one's going to raise their hand, or the stage isn't going to work.
No, no worries.
But
It's
either
fine.
way, are there any just like last call outs you want to just give to the people in terms of like if they want to join the community, where should they go, and if they want to learn more about Ooki,
Yeah, sure.
what should be
I just
their
posted the links in the chat. So I would kind of urge people to go to the homepage, read a bit about it, and then click right into the app if you'd like. Or I'd consult people to kind of hop in our Telegram. So thanks for all the listeners that really showed up. And I appreciate that. And again, Hunter, like this was a super professional operation. Your community is obviously great. We're happy to be on Arbitrum, and thank you again for all the nice words and letting us take up this time.
Of course, our community is your community.
Thanks for
Yes,
having
thank
us.
you for coming on.
Yep.
You guys have a great day.
Bye, everybody.
You too. Have a good one.
Adios, y'all.